All right, good evening, everybody, and a very warm welcome to another Meaningful Monday. This year has gone by so quickly. I am amazed that today is the 1st of April. So, first of all, a very happy Easter, blessed Easter to everyone who does celebrate Easter. If you don't, that's also fine, but if you do, I really hope you had a wonderful, happy, and blessed Easter. So, tonight we're going to be talking about finding your life's purpose. Tonight was actually a request from one of my silver graduates, mastermind students, and there were more than one person who actually asked if I could talk about life purpose and potentially for their extended family members. So if you do have people in your life who might need this more than you do, please know that you can share this. It will be uploaded to YouTube. At the bottom it says there the channel is called Silver Method Australia. That's the YouTube channel. So I just want to welcome everybody who normally attends. What I want to say, welcome back. Thank you for coming back. And then to the new people who've not been on a Meaningful Monday before or any webinar with me, a really heartfelt, warm welcome to you. And thank you so much for joining tonight. I'm going to do my best to give everybody here the best value I can in the next hour, and then we'll do a little meditation at the end. So let's talk about finding your life's purpose. I first want to know by everyone just finding the chat box at the bottom of your menu there. There's a little button that says chat. If you don't mind just jumping into the chat. And I want someone to write there the answer to, do you know your life's purpose? Just a yes or a no, or a Y or an N. Someone says yes. Great. That's Gloria. And then a no, and then a no, and then a yes, and then a no. Not yet. I like not yet. Very good. Getting there. Also nice. Not yet. Okay, there's a few not yet. All right, so then you're definitely going to enjoy this kind of, but not sure. Great. That's also good. And then not yet, then another yes. Excellent. All right, and then another not yet. And another, then a no. All right. Well, thank you for sharing. So when it comes to finding your life purpose, this is for everybody. This is for people who do know their life purpose and for people who don't know their life purpose. Cassandra says rephrase. Yes, but really? Okay. And Ellie says not yet. All right. Let me just quickly attend to something. Okay. So when it comes to your life purpose, I'm going to just give a couple of points tonight, and I can definitely hope to help everyone, no matter where you are and what your situation is. So when it comes to life purpose, I think I'm going to share a few strange things first that I had to think about when I thought, okay, if someone asked me to do this Meaningful Monday on life's purpose, what do I really want to convey? What do I want you to know? And what do I want you to do? So the first thing I thought was, well, let's define life purpose. And I must say that when I very first started thinking about this question, I was annoyed, okay, and a bit frustrated because my whole life I never knew what it even meant. So I worked in corporate for 20 years. I had a great career. I was happy. I was often, feeling very fulfilled in what I was doing. But after every 5 or 6 years, I kind of felt restless and I had this niggly feeling inside. There's got to be more to life than this. And then I potentially change careers, which I have done. I haven't stayed in the same career. I started off as a chef, believe it or not. I went to hotel school. I was in catering industry. Then I went to retail. I worked for the biggest retailer in South Africa back then, Pick n Pay. And then I worked for the other side of retail in the supply side. Then I moved to Australia. Then I worked in market research. I changed industries. And every time I felt a surge of energy and excitement. But after 5 to 7 years, it definitely wore off. And there was this niggly feeling, there's got to be more to life than this. Even though I was enjoying it and I was, doing my best, there was a feeling deep down that, man, surely I'm born for greater than this or for something more enriching than this, or more fulfilling than this, or at least more meaningful. So when I used to hear people talk about life purpose, I used to get a little bit frustrated because I didn't really know what it meant. Now, I'm just going to talk about a couple of things. When we define life purpose, if a person says, my life purpose, I want to know my. So, look, this might offend some people. I'm just going to say it. When we use me, my, or I, we really come from the ego. We really come from a place, it's something of mine. So I'll tell you how I came to find my life purpose in just a while, a bit later on. But when I did find my true life purpose, and not even immediately, but years later, I'm talking about more than 5, 6, 7 years later, through just more education and more study and more reflection, I came to understand that I don't think my life purpose is the best term for what I want to share tonight. I would call it your divine plan. There's a divine plan for your life. And I want to make that distinction because my life purpose, I've heard some spiritual teachers say, it's the mission you give yourself. I heard that in the movie The Secret. It's the mission you give. And I don't want to talk about that tonight. I want to talk about the fact that there is actually a divine plan for your life. Thank you, Cassandra. She loves that. There's a divine plan for your life, and the word divine literally means it's divinely orchestrated in the greatest realm where we don't spend a lot of time contemplating. So that's the first thing I want to say. The second thing I want to say is you have to believe that you have a purpose. So when I was confused all those years, and I'm telling you, I never found my life purpose till I was in my 40s. So don't worry about it, even if you're in your 60s. It's never too late. Louise Hay found her life purpose at 61. She was at the height of her career when she was 80. And she wrote her last book when she was 91. So it's never too late. This is really important. You have to believe that you have a purpose. So I'm going to talk about this bee. I just love this photo. But I wrote a book, so I do feel qualified to talk about life purpose. Here's my book. It's called Living in the Flow, and I'll give you some excerpts out of it later on in this presentation. But the subtitle says, A Guide to Discovering Your Purpose and Value in This World. So I'm today so passionate about life purpose. I could talk about it forever. I want to help anybody who cannot find their life purpose. I want to help you. And I promise you, if you either are determined through a decision that you will find it, or you seek resources, my book is a resource, or any other resource, and you pursue this thing, you will find it. But I just want to have to say, oh, thank you, Susie, I've read it, it's wonderful. Thank you so much. So you have to believe that you have a purpose. I'm talking about this bee now. There's a part of my book, chapter 1, so my book is about, understanding what your highest priorities are. Not the priorities you give yourself, but your personal highest priorities that are the same for every person. So I think that they almost like a truth. I never read this anywhere. I never found this written anywhere. I'm, as you know, the Silver Method trainer in Australia and South Africa, and practicing the Silver Method for over 10 years. One of the techniques is a dream technique, and you can use dreams to solve problems and find solutions. And I had a dream in the middle of the night one night at about 1 a.m., and that resulted in me writing this book. And what I got in that dream, I'm going to share with you here. It's 3 highest priorities that just came to me, and then they kind of formed bubbles, and the bubbles intersected, and they formed a Venn diagram, and I'm going to share that with you. But the first priority out of the 3 is you need to become aware of your connection to God, source energy, infinite intelligence, any name that you give it. I'm not getting hung up about the names. It's whatever it is, it's personal for everybody. But there is some infinite intelligence that governs everything in this universe, including this bee. So let's talk about this bee for a second. Have you ever wondered about a bee? I can sit and watch a bee dance around flowers trying to do whatever it does, and I watch this bee, and Please don't think I'm being funny. I'm going to go on about this for a little bit long. But there's a point I want to make. What is the bee doing? It goes inside a flower, collects pollen, goes inside another flower, collects pollen. So I ask myself, does the bee know what he has to do? Or does he just, instinctively do it? Where does that intelligence come from? And the other thing is, I ask myself funny questions like, does a bee ever take a day off? Well, I don't think so. They're there every day and they're doing their thing. These little tiny creatures, as small as a bee, is so intelligent. You can drop it 50 kilometers away from its hive and it can find its way back. And it's a phenomenon. So actually, human beings with all the intelligence don't know how a bee can find its way back to its hive. The other thing is I saw a post on Facebook just yesterday. I wish I put the photo up. If you leave bees to create their own beehives, they make an absolutely beautiful pattern. It almost looks like a flower of honeycomb. The only reason we see honeycomb in square blocks is because people disrupted that by putting those slides inside beekeepers' boxes to produce honey. Now I'm going on about the bee because the bees, what it does and what its purpose is are not the same thing. What the bee does is it collects pollen to go back to the hive, and that's how they make honey. But its cosmic purpose is to pollinate flowers, to pollinate plants. We would have no fruit and veg to eat if it wasn't for the beautiful bee. So I don't know the cosmic purpose of every creature because I haven't studied this or gone into the research, but I'll give you another example. Every shelled animal inside the ocean, what it does, it eats, it reproduces, it does whatever. But its purpose, its cosmic purpose, is to draw calcium out of the water of the ocean. And without the shelled animals, did you know that nothing in the ocean would live because there'd been too much calcium? So it has a cosmic purpose. The other thing is an ant. People might think, oh, it's just an ant. Well, theory is one thing, but practice is another. If you actually sat for a good 30 minutes, not 2 minutes or 3 minutes, a good 30 minutes in silence on your own somewhere and just watched an ant, whether you watched one or two, and really contemplated what they are doing, how they know what they're doing, they pick up something, they carry it. Do you know that an ant can pick up something 30 times its own body weight? They are highly intelligent. Ants are so intelligent that the United Arab Emirates studied their anthills and how they build their tunnels because they keep the draft of air and the suction of cool air and the release of hot air to keep everything healthy and stable within the anthill, that the engineers copied that years ago before air conditioning was invented to know how to design buildings to make sure that there's airflow. So here human beings are actually learning from ants on how to design tunnels for a very important intelligent purpose. So you think, okay, what the ant does, he walks around, he communicates with other ants, he goes back and forth, he collects things, he brings it back to his home. They live in community, they're highly industrious, but yet they aerate the earth. And they're also good for decomposition of things. And they clean up. If you just spill some bread or something on the ground, trust me, within a day, it'll be completely clean. And the ants have done that. So the point I'm trying to make is, if a tiny creature like a bee has got such an important purpose, and an ant, and whatever else, you must come to believe that you have a divine purpose that nobody else can do the way you do it. And before you ever try to find your life purpose, you have to believe this. So I can't actually leave the subject and carry on until I drive this message home. Because before I found my life purpose, that's why I wrote the book and I'm so passionate about it. I doubted whether there was such a thing as life purpose, because when I heard people talk about it, they spoke about it as if they knew what they were talking about, and I had no idea. And I thought, well, how do you just find it? Like how? How do you go about just finding it? There's no answer to that question, because here's the next point I want to make. You cannot use logic to find it. Please write this down. I don't know, stick it somewhere. If you're a person who's left brain, logical, loves reasoning, loves to analyze things, loves to work out solutions to problems, loves to get things right, loves to study and educate yourself, I'm here to tell you that you need to know this more than anyone. You cannot trust your logic, let alone use it. You cannot trust your logic to find your life purpose. It's going to be wrong. And I'm saying that, and you can think I'm being a bit harsh. I'm going to say it. If you think that you'll find your life purpose through using logic, you're going to be wrong. And if you don't believe me, give it time, and time will eventually prove it to be so. You can only find your intuition through your God-given guidance system. And you do have a God-given guidance system, and that's your intuition. And intuition is the opposite of logic. So now we've come to quite a bit of information already. So if you're thinking about your life purpose, how is your intuition? Do you trust it? Do you use it? When do you use it? When you get these hunches or these impulses, do you act on them? Do you always follow them? Do you only follow them when you really get the feeling and it's like something that just, you get goosebumps or something? Or is intuition something that you call on? So I want the answer to this question. I'm going to call on my intuition. How do you call on your intuition? Well, if you really want to know something, as simple as this is, you can really just go into meditation and you can say, I really want to know the truth about this, or I really want to know if this is the right thing for me, or I really want to know, even if it's your life purpose, you really want to know. Once I became determined to know, your subconscious mind, the more heated it gets, the more desire you have to know your life purpose, the more intense that desire is, and the strength of your belief that you actually have a unique purpose in this planet, on this planet, your subconscious mind will draw the answer from everything in this universe is connected. So from that entire divine matrix or cosmic web or quantum field, whatever you want to call it, the ether, everything in this universe is connected. Past, present, and future. It's hard for the finite mind of man to comprehend, but we have to know that this is proven. So it is so. So the answer to every question you have exists. So you can't use logic. Let me carry on. So this was my wake-up call. Sometimes in life we do need a wake-up call, and mine was the passing of my late brother. That's him there. He was really a beautiful, soulful human being, beautiful, gentle brown eyes. He had a lot of depth as a person, and he passed when he was only 21. And at that time in my life, it was truly the saddest and most tragic experience that I've personally ever had. And when he passed, I started to reflect. I immediately, the minute I heard, I was on a plane from Australia within 3 hours. And when I got to South Africa, I was there for his funeral. And then I spent a month there with the family and we went away. We just went away to be somewhere near the ocean. And we spent a lot of time in reflection and quiet. We didn't distract ourselves too much. We just sat with what had happened. And during that time of reflection, I asked myself if I was really happy. And I had a lot of success at that stage. In my career, I was at the top of my game. I'd reached the level that I'd actually had as an ambition, always wanted to reach since I was in my 20s. But deep inside, I was very unfulfilled. And I became brutally honest with myself. And that's what a person needs. They need to be brutally honest about if you're fulfilled or not. Because when you find your life purpose, when I say it's divinely guided, I mean it's divinely guided. It will be your greatest bliss. It will be the thing that's not even work. It's something that you love to do so much. You'll do it for absolutely nothing. However, you'll do it so well that people will want to pay you for it. That's what they call a career. So many people, like myself, they need to come to find their life's purpose as a result of a major event. Now that was me. Now, if I'd watched this webinar that someone else had potentially done years and years ago, I wouldn't have needed a wake-up call like that. So I'm here to tell you, you don't need to have that wake-up call. You don't need to have a major event. I call it a cosmic slap, something that absolutely disrupts your life totally. If it does, it usually is for a purpose. And that purpose is to wake you up to ask, what are you doing with your life? And is it the thing that really you feel you were born to do it? There's a feeling you get that you were born to do something. Now, also your life purpose, I must add, must relate to your talents and your gifts. And everybody has talents and gifts, even the people who think I don't have any special talent. Yes, you do. Everybody does. So when you have something that's a tragedy in your life, I love this quote by Napoleon Hill, within every temporary defeat, and my friends, every defeat is temporary, whether that's a divorce, whether that's a bankruptcy, whether that's a death of a loved one, whether that's a retrenchment, whether that's a car accident or some accident, whether it's a major illness, something really bad, whatever it may be, a breakup, some relationship breaks down, something. It's temporary. No defeat is permanent. So within every temporary defeat, not some, not a few, every single one, lies the seed of an equivalent advantage. And if you read the book, that's from Think and Grow Rich, if you read the book, it doesn't only say of an equivalent advantage, it says of an equivalent or greater benefit or advantage. So if someone said to me, losing my younger brother had an advantage when it happened, I would have said, you crazy. But it is true. So remember that for your own life. Now, you don't have to have a major event or catastrophe. You could be proactive, and I'm going to show you how you can find your life purpose. So that's the book that I wrote. I honestly mean this with my whole heart. If anyone reads that book, but not just reads it and turns the pages, at the end of every chapter is a how-to section. Okay, there's a formula in this book for finding your life purpose, and at the end of each chapter is a how-to. If you really do the how-to, as funny as the requests may be, and one of them is to go and sit in nature and watch the ant, okay, or watch the bee, and you're going to think I'm crazy asking you to go, how on earth can watching a bee, Janine, help me find my life purpose? Well, it will actually help, because when we keep asking ourselves, how was this bee created? And where does the infinite intelligence come that it knows exactly what it's doing? It never gets it wrong. And it does it so well, and so does every other bee. We come to have a sense of awe and wonder. And there's awe and wonder even in a blade of grass. You know, we are highly intelligent. We can build robots and drones and put rockets on the moon and artificial intelligence and I don't know what. But you know, we cannot create a blade of grass. Not the way a blade of grass is created. So where is this intelligence? And if you think of grass, it can grow out of concrete. I drive on the train sometimes and I watch these concrete retainer walls and they're just bursting with green bunches of living things. That's a miracle in itself. So when we deepen our sense of awe and wonder about the miracles everywhere, in an ant, in the blade of grass, in every living thing, and really have a deep appreciation for this intelligence that governs this entire universe, this planet, the orbit of all the planets are so perfect in our solar system, and they all revolve around the sun. But then another system or another galaxy, they don't rotate around our sun. How does this work? No one can explain. How come there's gravity on this planet but not on another one? I don't know. No one can, and I don't think we're meant to explain. We're meant to understand or have logical reason. Remember when I said, if you try to work out things with logic, you're going to get them wrong? Well, I think human beings, with a sense of awe and wonder, come to a place of humility when we have humility and we have a teachable spirit and a desire to learn things without being arrogant and think we know it all, then you drop a lot of the logic, because then you say, well, how does the planets work and how does the blade of grass grow? Instead of saying how, just have an absolute appreciation for the miracle that we cannot explain. We can explain what, my friends, what grows, but we cannot explain how. Just one example out of my book I'll share. I talk about an egg and a bird that comes out of an egg. How on earth is that bird created? First of all, how do you get a whole blob of jelly out of a chicken? Seriously, a blob of jelly, and it's covered in a shell that's hard and protective, really thick actually, got to bang it quite hard to crack. And then that just rolls out the chicken and lies there. And as long as the mother keeps it warm enough, in that gel, after a period of time, it cracks open and a perfectly formed chicken comes out of, or bird, whatever it is, with a skeleton and eyes and feathers and scales and nails and a beak and a brain and an intelligence itself on what to do and what its purpose is. It is a miracle. It is such a stupefying miracle. A bird in an egg has got no life support, it's got no umbilical cord. It's there on its own out there in a blob of gel. And at the end of its cycle of creation, a perfectly formed bird comes. I'm going on about nature. I'm going on about this because when we have a mindset of complete awe and wonder for the miracles everywhere, even the fact that you can hear me now is a miracle. That you're watching this with your eyes and understand it is a miracle. When you have that, something inside shifts and you do widen that connection with this infinite intelligence that created you. Well, if it can create a bee that it knows its purpose, surely you, the highest form of creation, which you are on this planet, we are the highest form of creation. Surely our intelligent creator has got a plan for you. If it can govern all the planets, surely your life purpose has a plan. And it does. And it's not any plan. It's a divine plan. And you know, when I came to find my life purpose, it was through my intuition guiding me. Some of you have heard my story. I joined the John Maxwell team. John Maxwell is the world's #1 leadership author and speaker. And when I joined his global team, a mentor came in my life and I was so lost at that time. But my intuition guided me to take that step. So intuition, that's your answer. It'll guide you. And then one night, this mentor talking in the teaching call, when he said, when you want to know your life purpose, don't ask what is your life purpose, ask what are you passionate about? Because in your passion lies your God-given purpose. Now, I'd like you, if you're making notes, to write down the last part of that sentence. Your God-given purpose. That's why I'm very distinctive about my life purpose. What is my life purpose? No, it's not mine. My, me, and I is ego. It's my God-given purpose. There's a divine plan by an infinite intelligent creator, which I call God. You can have any other term you want, but there is an energy that's so intelligent. And when we have this awe and wonder, that conduit, that connection just opens and you start living every minute of the day with a different sense of gratitude and appreciation and a feeling that you're connected to everything. So when you watch a bee or you watch an ant, with enough contemplation and enough reverence for all life, reverence, you change inside. You don't want to hurt anything. You don't want to hurt any animal. You don't want to kill anything. You even find a spider in your house, instead of squashing it, you'll somehow catch it and throw it outside, because you have an appreciation that that little tiny spider is intelligent too. He has a right to live just like I do. I have to respect all life. I have to change within myself to become the best version of myself, because if I'm the best version, I am worthy of this divine plan, and I am trusted to carry this divine plan out for what? For myself? For my own satisfaction? I don't think so. It's to serve. It's to serve others. It's to be of service. That's what a life purpose is. So when people say, I need to find my life purpose, I'm so lost and I'm so stuck. All right, I was lost and I was stuck too. But I was selfish. I was very selfish when I was lost and I was stuck and I was ambitious and it was all about me, me, me and success. I was that in my 20s and 30s. I'm here to admit it. I'm not proud. I'll tell you honestly, I was like that. Yes, I used to be as generous as I could and a nice person as I'd like to be, but it was always about me. So when I was unfulfilled, it was because I wanted more fulfillment. But the blind spot, the biggest blind spot on the planet, is that life purpose doesn't relate to you. It relates to others. So let's first believe there's a plan for our life and then get a sense of awe and wonder, start to develop our intuition and trust it. And when the guidance shows up, follow that guidance, which will always lead you right. Okay, logic will lead you wrong, but intuition will always, 100% of the time, 100% lead you right. And as it leads you, you must be humble enough to be obedient, to take immediate obedient action and follow that intuitive guidance, even if you think it's crazy. Because when it's true intuition, I promise you, my friends, it's inconvenient, it doesn't fit into your life, you can't afford it, you haven't got the time, and you sure as hell can't do it right now. But that's true intuition, and that's true guidance. And it really doesn't fit in your life at the time. But we need to take action on it. Even if it's in a small way, you have to start to move towards that. So I'm going to quickly share you a little bit out of my book. I'll go through this pretty quickly, but the message I want to leave with you is what I've shared with you up to now and just a little bit of more depth as to how we go about actually how we find our life purpose. So in my book, when I had that dream, I had a dream about knowing your 3 highest priorities. And the first one is what I just mentioned, that constant connection to source is permanent and eternal. You are part of source energy. In fact, you are a physical extension of God or a physical extension of universal source energy. That's what you are. You don't relate to it, you are it. You might be a droplet of the whole source, like if the ocean was the whole source, you're a droplet of it. Or a snowflake, if you look at all white snow, it's all white. But one tiny snowflake is unique and individual, and no other snowflake is the same. That's you. You're a snowflake. But with every other snowflake, you just look like one big universal source energy. So you're connected to this. What is required is your awareness of that connection. And you can only develop that awareness of that connection by being absolutely intentional about it and being willing to change. Now, I'm not saying everyone needs to change because now it's like saying, Janine, you're assuming that I'm not a good person, or I'm not saying that. I'm saying there needs to be a willingness in every human being to change. In what way? Well, to develop more of your spiritual nature, to become more of a spiritually evolved human being. And the path to that is developing a sense of awe and wonder. It's when we drop the arrogance. We don't know the answers to everything. We just admit we don't know. I don't know how I was created. I don't know. I don't know how anybody was created. You could say, oh, I do know because I'm a biologist. Even a biologist doesn't know. I don't care if he's got 100 degrees. He doesn't know how. He can tell you what, a sperm, an ovum, and the whole thing, the 9 months that it grows in the womb is the most incredible miracle. No one can tell you how. We can tell what, but not how. And until we have that real awe and wonder, that humility, we can get that first high priority going in a deeper way. And then your goal, my friends, every day, your goal is to just develop yourself spiritually. And the best way to do that is through meditation. That is the number one, is to meditate, quiet your mind, Sit with yourself. If you can for 10 minutes. It's not easy to sit with yourself for 10 minutes. Quiet your mind for 10 minutes. See if you can. I'm talking about Zen meditation. I know I train the Silver Method. Carry on doing that if you want to do that. That's fine. I'm talking about passive meditation. Sit with yourself. Become aware of the observer of your thoughts. Who's observing? If those are observing your thoughts, then you can't be your thoughts. Well, then what is observing your thoughts? That's the true you. That's the spiritual version of you. And the more we meditate and quieten the mind through practices like Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, or Stillness Speaks, if you've ever read his books, that's 10 minutes of doing that is long. 20 minutes is really long. But you can practice, get more and more. Even start with 1 minute to quieten your mind with not a single thought and just sit and be. So anyway, that's the first section. My book has got a couple of easy exercises besides meditation on how you develop that constant connection to source. And if you do read the book, I don't want you to read it. I want you to do it. To actually go watch that bee, watch that ant, or whatever it may be. The second one is, as I said, developing your intuition. So that is required because we need the guidance to find our divine plan for our life. And that's how you find your life purpose. Now, my book is called Living in the Flow because this came to me in a dream. I don't take any credit for this. This was kind of downloaded into my head, and I drew a picture at 1 a.m. in the morning, went to sleep, and the next morning I woke up, opened my dream journal, and I found the outline to the book, and then I just wrote all the chapters out. But this came to me. If you cross over these sections in this Venn diagram, well, if you're aware of your connection to source and you know your life purpose, well, then you actually live on purpose. And I'm talking about intentional living. And that's a beautiful way to live. That's a highly significant way to live. Not a success, that's all about me. Significance is all about others. So when you live on purpose, you're intentional about everything you do with every person you meet. And you are here for the purpose of your interaction with other human beings, and you'll come to find your purpose through serving. If you have your intuition developed and you know your life purpose, well, then you start living a guided life. And if you have a connection, awareness of your connection to source energy or God, and you have developed your intuition, well, then you live with faith. So I'll go through these quickly in a couple of slides to come. When all 6 of those conditions exist together, that's living in the flow. Now, I have lived in the flow many times, a lot. I don't claim to live in the flow every single day and have since I wrote the book or anything. It's not easy. To live in the flow, we need to be intentional about our routines, our practices, our spirituality, our mind, so many things. But if you do this, you will live in the flow. When you live in the flow, you will feel a hand in your life that solves all your problems, opens every opportunity, guides you to your highest bliss, gives you the greatest joy. You'll find you wake up with inspiration. Everything that comes across your path is almost like an amazing, miraculous synchronicity. That's living in the flow. And it's available to every single person, I believe.
What
So,
is that?
Renata, I'm just going to mute your mic. Yeah, okay, thanks. So in the chapter 1, a constant connection to source, there's only one universal source from where all things come. Only one. So when we look at everything in this whole universe with a sense of awe, think about yourself. You come from that same source. Now, as I said, you can live unconsciously or you can live consciously aware of that presence. And this is where your free will comes in. And we do have free will. Now, there's this balance between free will and God's will. So when I speak about my life purpose and ego and the divine plan is your God-given purpose. In your passion lies your God-given purpose, and that comes from your heart. That's why I said you can never use your head to find your life purpose. I'm sorry, you cannot. You would have worked something out logically. This is a good career for me. This makes sense. Or, I'm very good at these subjects. I'm going to take this particular path. That's logic. Your heart knows what your life purpose is. It honestly does. It's your heart. So when it comes to free will, we do use our free will. However, we're using our free will to try and find our divine plan, which is God's will. That's how I see it. If you yearn to live a more fulfilling and creative life of love, of happiness, of meaning, then it is your highest priority to firstly develop an awareness of your constant connection to source energy. That's developing your spirituality. The next one, developing your intuition. Well, you've heard this before. This is from Wayne Dyer. He says, if prayer is when we are talking to God, then intuition is when God is talking to us. So, by the way, this quote, I learned it from Wayne Dyer. I found it written in a book written in 1924 by Florence Scovel Shinn called The Game of Life and How to Play It. If anyone hasn't ever heard of that book, I highly recommend it. One of my students and graduates, Michelle Puppick, some of you might know her, she recommended that book. And this was in that book, this very quote, but it just said, if prayer is when we are telephoning God, then intuition is God is on the telephone to us. So interesting change of words. But think about this. Your intuition is divine. It's from a higher source and it's just meant for you. It's your internal guidance system. It's the opposite of logic. It requires a relaxed state. And that is the reason why we need to meditate every single day, even if it's for just 5 minutes. 20 to 30 minutes would be better. An hour would be awesome. But if you can't do that, start with 5 minutes a day. You will get onto the path. It will help you learn to become relaxed. And when you're relaxed, you are intuitive. You might get all your intuitive guidance only in those 5 minutes while you're relaxing. But you know what? With practice, it gets better and better over time. And you can always trust your intuition. Then the last one about finding your life purpose. Well, the most important thing for anybody who's living and breathing is to find their life purpose. It's absolutely one of your highest priorities. I always say the most important goal in your life is to find your life purpose. The most important skill to develop is your intuition. Now, life purpose is not really a goal, even though I say it like that. Goals are kind of something else. They're something that we go for. We know what they are. We're going to achieve them. But the divine plan for your life is not really a goal. It's more the purpose that you were born to live into it fully. So I love this quote. The two most important days of your life are the day you were born and the day you know why you were born. And there will, if you haven't found your life purpose and you're determined to find it, you will know that day. You will just know, I was born to do this. You will feel it resonate in every cell of your body so strongly, it will bring you to tears. Honestly and truly, when you know that you're living your true purpose, it's the most beautiful, beautiful thing. And the gratitude is overwhelming. So, purpose is different from finding that job that makes you happy. Purpose is less about what you want. It's more about what you give. What you give. That's why life purpose can never be a self-indulged ambition. It cannot be a goal. It cannot be something that you are striving for. It's not a self-indulged ambition. It's about others. It relates to others. It's about living for others. It's about service to others. In fact, there's a saying, I don't remember the exact words, but you need to lose yourself so much in the service of others that you come to find yourself, or you come to find your true purpose. And life becomes magical. Thank you, Cassandra. So your purpose is not the thing that you do. So even myself, as a Silver Method trainer or coach, or Heal Your Life teacher, whatever it is that I do, sell investment property, it's not the thing that I'm doing. It's not the training I'm giving or the workshop that I'm holding. It's the thing that happens in others when I do the thing that I do. The same for you. It's the thing that happens in others when you do what you do. So life purpose, it relates to others because it's there to change lives for the better. Every life you meet, if you can leave that person somehow, some way, better than when they first found you, you've served a purpose in that moment. If you do that all the time, that's living a life of purpose. And you can say, well, I can do that, and then I have to find the life purpose. Well, that's it. Carry on doing that. Stay in a safe state of gratitude, awe and wonder with your spirituality developing, and you will find it becomes greater and more clear. And the purpose becomes greater. And the thing that you do expands. And you come to fuller space that only you can do the way you do it. And then that's that feeling. I was born to do this. So living on purpose means that you have an intention to serve others. This intention to serve is what gives you the motivation and the inclination to develop and use more of your infinite potential. It requires you to go beyond just your needs, and this is why you were born. Yes, you were born for a specific purpose. So when you find your purpose or your divine plan, it's going to ask more from you because it's about serving others. And when it becomes that true service to others, you don't have a choice. You have to develop more of your potential to fulfill that service. And that's what it is. You come to find the thing that you were born to do, it will cause you to develop more and more and more of your potential, to become a greater and greater and greater version of yourself. And it's a wonderful journey. This quote actually comes out of the Bible. Without a vision, the people perish. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that they die, like lose their life instantly like that, but it means that they do die inside, or they live lost. We all need a purpose, we need a vision, and goals are the steps to get there. So this is more clear now. Purpose is your sun. If all planets revolve around the sun, the purpose is your sun. It's the filter through which you make all your decisions. It's the reason you do everything that you do. Your vision must be there. You must have a grand version of yourself somewhere in the future in your mind's eye. And that's your vision. And your vision, my friends, needs to be bigger than you initially think that's your vision. You've got to make it bigger and then make it bigger than that and make it even bigger than that. Why? Because your vision needs to be so big that honestly you couldn't fulfill it in your entire lifetime. So you create a legacy to continue with that vision. That's the vision we're meant to have. And when you have a vision like that, and it's about serving others, and it's about making this world a better place, you'll be living your highest bliss. Absolutely. And then the goals are just the stepping stones to get there. So living a guided life, well, living a guided life. I love this quote by Marilyn Monroe. Sometimes good things fall apart so that better things can fall together. So in my book, in the chapter on living a guided life, I tell the story of when things went wrong. Doors closed. I was so disappointed. I felt so unhappy at times. Really lost. Really just don't understand why just things went so wrong for me. That's guidance too. When you trust that source, when you're in constant contact with that source and you have that source as a personal friend, it's a communication going on in your mind every other moment of the day. That's what my relationship is with God. It's personal. It's personal. I recognize the synchronicities and I'm grateful for them, so I'm giving thanks. I recognize the sudden appearance of something that's an opportunity. It's the right opportunity just for me. So I'm grateful. I've got this constant awareness. And then when something goes wrong, I didn't know this then. I'm telling you this now in hindsight because I've learned from this. When things go wrong now, my immediate thought goes not like, oh no, why did this go wrong? It's like, okay, What good is meant to come from this? What good is meant to come from this? Do you know that sometimes life clears your path? And that's guidance too. Whoops. So if you've had something go wrong, let's just say you were retrenched, or you did, happen to have a divorce or a person pass on or something, there's a purpose for everything that goes wrong in our life. And for me, losing my brother, as tragic as it was my wake-up call. And I started to really reflect and become brutally honest. So it was the right thing for me. That was guidance too. So just in your life, when things go wrong, don't get too upset about them. Be upset for the moment that, it doesn't go as you wanted. But very quickly come to the awareness that you're meant to change from that or learn from that. That's guidance. So always remember to be grateful, not just for the good things in your life, be grateful for the things that you think are not good in your life. Be grateful for those moments too, because when you look back in your life, you'll realize they were blessings in disguise. They always are blessings in disguise. Everything, every single thing is always for your higher good, even if it's just to change your perspective on something. Just want to see what's in the chat here. Have a great time. Thank you. Okay, now living a guided life. This is a process of learning to trust this guidance. And when I say trust this guidance, it really is that thing of complete abandonment of our logic. Totally disregarding it. I know I'm going on about this. People are going to say that can't be right. Logic is such a valuable purpose. Yes, it does. We have logic for a purpose and it's very important. But when it comes to guidance in your life, that's intuition. And we have to trust that guidance. And very often it goes against our logic. And sometimes it's scary. Sometimes it's giving us an instruction. And to take that step is hard. Maybe it's a difficult decision. But we have to trust it. Do not be attached to the outcome of anything. If you really want something, okay, want it, it's going to take you down a path. If you don't get that thing, don't be attached to that for the rest of your life and have regrets and have remorse and have, negative emotion. No. Surrender to whatever's showing up and be grateful for everything that shows up. Oops, okay. Now I'm going to flick some words on the screen. I want you to type in the chat box or unmute your mic and tell me what you think the saying is. They're mixed up, they're not in order. There's a couple of words there. What is that saying? Someone just unmute your mic and tell me. There they are again. What is that saying?
I'll believe it when I see it.
Say that again. I believe it. Say that, Jan. Jan, just say it again.
I believe it when I see it.
Okay, she said, I'll believe it when I see it.
No, I will see it when I believe it.
Thank you. I want to thank you. So this is just a trick. It was a trick, Jan. Don't worry. You fell for the you got the bait. Oops. So I'm here to tell you that you'll see it when you believe it. That's your life purpose. That's your divine plan. You have to believe there's a plan for your life. There was something specific you were born to do that no one else can do it the way you do it. Even if your talents and gifts are identical to another 3,000 people, the way you express that talent is unique. No one can do it the same way that you do it. And that's what you came here to do. That's what you were born to do. So we do need to create that belief, and that is what we call faith. And only you can create that. Faith isn't something lucky that falls down from the sky and say, oh, that person's so lucky they got so much faith. If I've had someone in my family say to me, I wish I was like you got so much faith. Faith is self-created. No one can put that in you. You choose that. In the book Think and Grow Rich, one of the 13 principles is a chapter on faith. And I love that chapter. That comes from Think and Grow Rich. It says, faith is a state of mind. It is cultivated. If you don't have faith, tell yourself every day you have faith. If you don't have that much faith, affirm it. Use an affirmation. Write it. Stick it up somewhere. Read it every day. Whatever faith it is that you want, whether it's faith in yourself, faith in your creator, faith in the divine plan for your life, develop the faith. Because when you have faith, miracles will show up. Did you know that anybody throughout history who's ever experienced a miracle, and they do exist, what was the one ingredient every single miracle had? It was faith. No one has ever had a miracle happen and they didn't have faith. So faith is something we have to cultivate. Is really important. I love this saying, faith is not belief without proof. It's trust without reservation, absolute trust. You have to suspend your own logic. You have to suspend your own negative, doubtful thoughts. You know, I once heard someone say that people have more faith in their doubt. Can you believe that? And it's true. And I was like that in my life at some stage. I had faith in my doubt, but faith is self-created. So you need to practice that and bring that about yourself. Faith is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it grows. Thank you, Cassandra. Absolutely, it's a muscle. Beautifully said. Thank you for that. Right. Now, this is from the Silver Method. The 3 steps to creating the life of your own design is desire, belief, and expectancy. Now, in the Silver Method, it says if you add those 3 together like an equation, like a maths formula, it equals faith. Desire plus belief plus expectancy. Now, let's talk about life purpose or your divine plan. You got to have a really strong desire. When my brother passed, I was so lost. I was so lost. I thought I haven't got the wherewithal to go back to the grind in my corporate job. I just didn't have it. I was so saddened by his loss. My values changed. I just wanted to be with my family. My values changed overnight. And all that corporate stuff and money and titles meant nothing. It changed like that in a heartbeat for me. It meant nothing. What did I suddenly have overnight? This enormous desire to make my life count. I thought, geez, like, what if I die tomorrow? Just make your life count. What are you doing? Your life means really not much. What I'm selling data in my corporate job, I was working for Nielsen. That for me wasn't the purpose I was born. I just came to that awareness. This is not why I'm born. I've got to be born for greater things than this. So the desire has to be there, so strong. You have to want to know it. Secondly is belief. I said that in the very beginning. You've got to believe there's a divine plan for your life. You got to believe it. If you don't believe it, it's not going to happen for you. It won't happen without the belief. So just create the belief. Just do it. Don't ask how. It's a choice. Believe it, like faith. And the third thing is positive expectancy. You got to have a positive expectancy that from now on you will find that purpose. And if you know your purpose, you will expand and grow into your purpose more and more and more. And all those 2 together, my friends, that's what faith is. So, faith, you don't have to know how it's going to happen. You just know it will. And in fact, you give gratitude. Neil Donald Walsh said, gratitude in advance is the most powerful creative force in the universe. So just give thanks that you come to the awareness you want to know the divine plan for your life. Thank you that you've got resources to get you there, and you do. I've shared with you here some, and you can get more on your own. I promise you, if you read my book and do the how-to at the end of each chapter, I guarantee it. If you don't find your life purpose after reading my book and doing absolutely what it says, I'll give you double your money back. 10 times I'll do that because I believe it, because I've lived it. I was myself so lost once. So lost. I didn't have any idea if I'd ever find my place in this world. I found the process through experience. It was slower and harder for me. But now that I've done it and I've walked it, I'm sharing it and it'll happen faster. If you've got someone, they say, clever people learn from their own mistakes, but wise people learn from other people's mistakes. So that's it. Okay, then if you have all those together, living in the flow, my book's title is something that does not happen by accident. People think, oh, just live in the flow. It's not by accident. It's not by just coincidence and luck that you're going to land up there. No. It takes an enormous amount of awareness, self-awareness all the time. Are you the best version of yourself every day? Do you really walk out the door with a heart of servanthood? that you're here to serve others, to make their life somehow, some way better, even if it's just a smile to a person on a bus, putting some money in the hands of a person who's living in the street. My goodness, how much more we have than that person, how blessed we are. What's it going to cost us? Even if you gave the guy $200, even if you gave him $500, you'd still be okay. He's got nothing. How blessed we are. So just that awareness, and then intentional action in every aspect. Then faith. I've discussed that in depth. And purpose. Do things out of purpose. I heard someone once say, if you don't really know your life purpose as yet, then just say to yourself, in this next hour, just the next hour, even if it's doing your washing and your laundry, I kid you not, in this next hour, how can I be most purposeful? And do your laundry with a sense of purpose. Don't be in your head thinking about your troubles and your bills you have to pay and your shopping list you haven't done. When you do that thing, apply your whole mind to it. Be present. Be in the now. Do it with gratitude. Thank goodness you've got laundry to do. Otherwise, you wouldn't have any clothes. So, yes, there's something to be grateful for. So you can do that in segments of your day. In the next hour when you start work tomorrow, for the first hour, how can I be most purposeful in this hour? You've got a client meeting. How can I be most purposeful with this client engagement? Not just what you've always done, more than yesterday, more purposeful. If you live with that kind of awareness, things start to change for you. Good luck starts to find you, and it's not good luck. It's this higher vibration in which you're living. It's this intentionality of being a greater and greater version of yourself that the law of attraction is going to meet you there. Then, of course, is listening to your intuition. That is paramount. That's why the 3 priorities, that's one of them. There are only 3. There could be a million. I just found 3. But one of them for sure is listening to your intuition. It's paramount. And then you must go with the flow. Don't have resistance. When things don't go your way, it's not easy. I practice this all the time. Things don't go my way every day, something happens. But I'm aware that to practice non-resistance is a form of surrender. And life is a balance of surrender and discipline. You need to have discipline in your life, a morning routine, meditation daily, forgiveness, opening your heart, doing the right thing by others, and at the same time, surrender. So it's like starting to live with a sense of grace and ease. And then it says, it will guide you gently and lovingly to fulfill your every dream with purpose, give your life significant meaning, which will, as a consequence, bring about unlimited happiness, belonging, and a life that you love. So in my book, just to share with you, that I just shared with you is part 1, but there was a part 2, because when I got this download at 1 a.m., I thought, well, if you did have all those things, you would just be very happy, very satisfied. But that's not the purpose that you were born. Your divine plan really is part 2. It's living beyond yourself. And there are only 3 chapters in the end of the book. The first one is living fully by serving others. Jan, taking the small steps makes it seem easier. Yep, thank you so much. True. So living fully by serving others. That was, remember when I said to you, my intuition guided me to join the John Maxwell team? Well, I'm going to give John Maxwell all the credit here. If there was one person in my life, if there was one mentor who helped me get out of my self-indulged ambition, and that what am I going to get? What's in it for me? To get me out of that mindset and into a mindset of servanthood and adding value to others. It was John Maxwell. And my intuition guided me there. And thank God for that. Because it was John Maxwell who said, success is all about me. Significance is all about others. And once you've tasted significance, success will never satisfy you again. So that is what we have to change within our heart to live fully. Living fully is serving. And when you start serving, you feel that significance and your life will never be the same. You can't go back. And that's also something that you absolutely can never, ever understand in theory. Okay. I'm just going to say it. When I heard him talk about it, it was intellectual knowledge. But when I started to do it, I changed inside and I could never go back. And I want that for everybody, because to live a life of significance gives you meaning. It makes you fulfilled. You're filled with contentment. And then the next one about healing yourself and others. Okay, I can't talk more highly about healing yourself. For those of you that are here, many of you have done the workshop, Love Yourself and Heal Your Life. I became a teacher and trainer. Isn't it interesting how I wrote this book 5 years earlier, and that chapter 5 years earlier than I becoming a Heal Your Life teacher? I didn't even know it existed. And I actually wrote about Louise Hay in that chapter of Healing Yourself. It's all about love. It's all about forgiveness. It's about healing your inner child wounds. It's to become aware of when you're triggered, when you lose your temper. These are all your inner child wounds. People are never the wrong cause that make you very angry. It's never that. It's that they trigger something in you that's unhealed, and that's why you lose your temper. So when we heal ourselves, we become better people. We are able then to heal others. Literally, love heals others. And also in the Silver Method, you actually learn healing techniques where you physically heal others, whether it's mentally, emotionally, or physically healing, but you do remote healing. That's serving too. If you put someone in there's a technique in the Silver Method called your lab and counseling. If you put someone in your lab every night and heal them, people that you know are struggling, people that aren't even your family, that could be your family, definitely your family and other people. That's serving. And the more you practice that, the more we get out of our own selfish ego and into the spiritual, soulful nature of who we are, because our soulful natures are pure, unconditional love. And the more we behave that way and change ourselves and are willing to change, because sometimes we're not willing, but there's always resistance. When we're willing to change and becoming more and more towards a soulful nature, you feel better about yourself. Your self-esteem goes up and you become a magnet for people around you. You start becoming really charismatic and attractive. People are drawn to you because there's something in you that they see that light in you, and they want that for themselves. And that's how you can become yourself a teacher on this planet. Everyone, to some degree, is a teacher. But what are we teaching? So if we can make ourselves better, improve ourselves every way, we'll become better and better for everyone on the planet through our own example. Because that's how we teach, is through who we are. And really living your legacy, that's the divine plan. When you live out your divine plan, without a shadow of a doubt, you will leave a wonderful legacy. Now, if you don't know what your life purpose is and you're lost, you can even start there. You can start right there on the very last one, living your legacy. If you went and contemplated that, whilst you go and sit in the park and stare at the bee and study the ant and look at the flower and wonder how's that flower created, how does the bird get created out of an egg, whatever you're thinking about creation with a sense of awe and wonder, come back then to your life and the legacy you want to leave. When you die one day, they say your life will be summed up in one sentence. People are going to say, oh, Janine, she blah, 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 blah. What's your one sentence? What do you want to leave behind? What difference do you want to have made? What lives do you want to have changed? And how? If you really thought about that, it may start to spur some things inside your mind and inside your heart. They start giving you ideas. Remember, ideas are the first manifestation. So ideas will pop in your head when they're there to guide you towards your life purpose. All right. Now, living beyond yourself is not a choice. It's a necessity. It's an absolute necessity, especially in a time like this. Have you ever wondered why you were born in a time like this? The world's in a very strange state. Depending who you are and how you look at it, some people will tell you things are really bad on the planet. Other people say things are really great on the planet. I don't know, it depends. But we cannot ignore that this planet needs a lot of healing. It needs a lot of love. It needs a huge amount of forgiveness. And it needs an enormous amount of change. If we think we're going to solve our wars by fighting, we're never going to stop killing each other. But if you try to tell someone, oh no, we need to stop our wars through forgiveness, people will think that a bit delusional or a dreamer or an idealist. But my friends, how else are we going to ever change anything if we don't change ourselves first and become forgiving people ourselves? Becoming the best version spiritually. And one by one, as we do that, we infect another and another and another. And as that spreads and goes on, that is the only way we'll ever change the world. It's that and that way only. So never worry about the whole world. Just worry about living beyond yourself. And that it is a necessity. The world needs you and the talents and the gifts that you've been blessed with. Otherwise, you are depriving the world of your unique and valuable contribution. And yes, my friends, you have value. You have enormous value. Every one of you sitting, listening here, I'm here to remind you that you have enormous value. You've already touched people's lives. You've already made incredible contributions. And that you've done is just scratching the surface. If you become really intentional about expanding your purpose as much as you can to living your divine plan, you will develop all of your potential on non-stop and becoming a more and more valuable contribution to the planet. And that's what the world needs. So my friends, let your light shine. It's actually the poem of Marianne Williamson is the very last paragraph of my book. It says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You're a child of God, and your playing small does not serve the world. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So we do need to work on ourselves. Forget about other people, trying to change them. If people annoy you, frustrate you, or anger you, the only person you need to change is yourself. It's never other people. So this is a quote from Louise Hay. You have the power to heal your life, and you need to know that. We think so often that we are helpless, but we are not. We always have the power of our minds. Claim and consciously use your power. So I say everyone on the planet needs 10 Heal Your Lives, including myself. Heal Your Life is one way. You can read the book, you can do the workshop, but definitely be invested in yourself and in healing your own inner child wounds. Heal your triggers. Build better relationships. Become a channel and a conduit of peace and love in your family, in your workplace, in your community, amongst your friends. You be the change. You be the person who's healing themselves consciously and actively all the time. You can read Heal Your Life 1,000 times, that book, and do the exercises. You'll continue to heal. There's always more to heal. You can do 10,000 Heal Your Life workshops. There's always more to heal. The more you heal your children automatically if you have children, and the more you heal your entire lineage behind you, because you're breaking the pattern in that chain all the way down your ancestry, because we take our wounds and we pass them down generation to generation. So when we heal ourselves, we do the greatest service. Very often our healing becomes our purpose. My healing became my purpose. I was so broken in 2010. It was the dark night of the soul for me. And I was so desperate. And then one night I was blessed to find the Silver Method. The Silver Method was my healing. Today, it's part of my purpose. When I train the Silver Method, I know I was born to do it. I can feel it. I love it. I'm passionate about it. I know how it's changed people's lives. I know it's a great service to humanity. It gives me great joy. Now that comes from my healing. I was also full of triggers, lack of forgiveness, resistance to forgive. I had baggage. I had resentments and grievances that I would not budge on. And then I also came to Heal Your Life. And then I did the Heal Your Life workshop and became a teacher. Oh my God, did my life change? It changed so much. So as I heal, it becomes more and more of my purpose. So think about your life, where you are, your biggest pain. You could be in a very bad place right now. If you could heal yourself from where you are, that you've healed can become your purpose. If you're not in a bad place, well, think about anything in your life that you've turned around. Your healing can definitely be part of your purpose. Remember that everything happened as it was meant to happen for your highest good. Absolutely everything. Even I talk about in Heal Your Life that I unlocked my greatest fear, which is a fear of being used again and again, which came from sexual abuse when I was 12, 13, 14, and 15. Once I healed that, I can talk about it. I couldn't talk about it before. And now as I talk about it, people in my classes, whether it's a Silver Method or Heal Your Life, how many people have contacted me? They said they've never told anyone, or they've told maybe one or two people. They want to talk about their own sexual abuse. So you see, my healing becomes something of value because I can talk about it. I'm comfortable speaking about it. And now people know there's a resource. They can get some help. They can heal their own. So everything in your life of your own healing often becomes something that you can create your divine plan and your life purpose from. So just to talk about forgiveness. Forgiveness is a gift that you give to yourself. It frees you from the past experiences and past relationships. It allows you to live in the present time. And when you forgive yourself and forgive others, you are indeed free. Forgiveness is also a required pathway when you do find your life purpose, or as you find it, or if you have found it. I cannot emphasize to focus more and more on forgiveness, and especially forgiveness of self, because as you do that, you heal yourself, you heal others, and you make this world a better place. All right, we've got a few minutes left, so we're going to meditate now, but just quickly, the events coming up. Let me see what some messages here. When we get criticism, judgment, and hate, what does that mean then? Okay, when we thank you, Suzanne, for asking. When we get criticism and judgment, the law of attraction is undeviating. It's consistent, and it has no exceptions. There's no person who has some law of attraction, someone else doesn't. It applies to everybody exactly the same through eternity. So when we get criticism and judgment, we are probably criticizing and judging ourselves. So our world reflects that. Life is your mirror. So I'm not saying you're doing it to other people, but I'm saying you're definitely doing that. If you receive that, you're definitely doing that. And you're doing it probably to yourself. So if you could heal yourself and love yourself more and stop the self-criticism and heal your life, in the book, there's a whole section on stop all criticism. Or in the workshop, there's also a section on stop all the criticism in our head comes from our parents' voices, our primary caregivers. Every negative voice in our head. Anyway, if we let these things roll within our minds, we will attract that into our life through our circumstances. How do we know if we have healed or healing the inner child? I'm not sure if my meditation efforts are working or in vain. Not sure if I'm doing the right thing. You'll know if your inner child is healed or unhealed by your triggers. If you triggered by anything, even if you said the person did wrong, doesn't matter. It's still triggered. If you triggered, you have inner child wounds. If you get angry sometimes because you can't control the way a situation is, it's because you feel out of control unless you can control a situation. And the only reason you feel triggered by that is because as a small child, you felt really out of control. That's an example. Okay, and then why don't I like to do the things that will help me heal? That's just a lack of self-love. Suzanne. And the more we love ourselves, the more we'll start doing the right thing, including forgiveness. Until I loved myself enough, I was unwilling to forgive. I know that sounds crazy, but forgiveness is freeing yourself. So if you don't love yourself, you will be unwilling to forgive every day of the week, because forgiveness is a thing you give to yourself. It's not condoning another person's bad behavior. So if you don't do things that are good for you, you need to love yourself more. I cannot recommend Heal Your Life more. I could recommend it to every person breathing on the planet. And it doesn't mean it's not the right thing. No, it doesn't mean there's not the right thing. There's resistance there. So often there's resistance when there's change. Okay, everybody to some degree is unwilling to change, but we become more willing to change when we love ourselves more. And when we love ourselves, we take care of ourselves, we'll do the right things, and we'll go after our goals. Everything in your life improves with self-love. Absolutely everything in your life improves, including money, relationships, your physical health of your body, your sleep. Everything changes. All right. So I hope that it was helpful, guys. The finding your divine plan or life purpose. Thank you. You're welcome. So just a few events. The Silver Method in South Africa. For those in South Africa, the price is a different price to the global price. It's for South Africa only. So please see the website for details. It's way below the global benchmark. It's in fact less than 50%. Thanks, Susie. And then for Sydney, the next Silver Method class is in May. And in June, I have a class called Silver Manifesting. It's a 2-day program. None of it is the same as the Silver Method. There are 11 completely unique techniques. I love Silver Manifesting. It's one of my favorite programs to train. So if you've never done it before, I highly recommend it. And I think I'm the only trainer in the world of Silver Manifesting. And I was trained by Laura Silver one-on-one. So I feel very honored and grateful to be able to bring this program to my students. Thank you, Joy. My website. Oh, thank you, Cassandra. My website is, I'll type it here. Oops. JanineShakaInternational.com. And then you go to events. If you want the South Africa link, just send me an SMS. Here's my number. I'll send you all the information directly. Here's my number. Okay. And then the next Love Yourself, Heal Your Life 2-day workshop is in July. And there's an early bird price there. And then Dynamic Healing is a 2-day program. The first day is all about emotional healing for yourself and actually to help others too. And day 2 is all hands-on healing. Very powerful program. Also different to the Silver Method, completely different techniques. All right, we're going to meditate now. Oh, just to quickly tell you, if you've got a major block, any major block, known or unknown, there's 2 techniques for known or unknown. I do offer something called Rapid Results Coaching. You can release that block in 1 session. It's guaranteed. If it doesn't happen, I'll give your money back. But it does happen. It's very scientifically designed. So any major block you have, no matter what that block is, you can speak to me about it if you're unsure. And then just to remind you, please, I've never done a free course, a free masterclass ever before. Thank you, Susie. This is the first time ever, guys. It's Think and Grow Rich. So all of you know I've been a trainer and teacher of Think and Grow Rich since 2017. And I first studied with my mentor in 2012. I've been studying the book every year over and over since 2012. And I'm bringing you Think and Grow Rich 2024. If you're interested in this free study, please, you must send me an SMS. I want your name, your surname, your email address, and please type the TAGR 2024 for Think and Grow Rich, step 1. And if you want to know why it says step 1, you need to go to our YouTube and watch the Meaningful Monday 2 months ago. It was called The Way the Wealthy Do It. And step 1 is investing in your mindset, and that's what this Think and Grow Rich is. Step 2, invest in your skill set. Step 3, invest in your business. And step 4, invest in assets. Don't try and invest in assets if you haven't invested in your mindset, because you'll probably get that investment wrong. And that's the purpose of this Think and Grow Rich. So it is free. Please share it with your friends, share it with your family, as many people as you like. It's going to be great. It's going to be over 8 weeks. All right. So now just grab a pen and a paper for yourself. We're going to meditate. I'm going to ask you some questions at the end of the meditation, and you're going to write down your first impressions. Don't analyze anything. Don't judge it. Just write down your first impressions. So I'm going to put some music on and just relax. So just make yourself comfortable. Take a few slow and consciously relax your body from head to toe. Relax your shoulders and just release any tension or pressures along the way. Now I'd like you to create in your mind an ideal place of relaxation. It could be real or imagined, just somewhere where you feel totally relaxed. Just imagine being there now, in your ideal place of relaxation. Experience it fully and relax. Now that you've created your ideal place of relaxation, you're going to add a waterfall of white light in the scene. Place this waterfall of white light wherever you choose. The waterfall is gentle, allowing you to stand under the cascading, beautiful white light. This light is a healing energy. Allow this white light to flow over you, to swirl around you, and encompass you within its glow. Feel it cleansing all the tension and the stress and the clutter away, not just of today or this last month, but your entire lifetime. Let this beautiful white healing light pour over you and completely clear and cleanse your entire energy field. And as this light clears your energy field, just notice how much happier you look. Notice the smile on your face. And just see how the weights that you've been carrying are no longer a burden. And notice how your energy field is expanding out now as you're radiating love. You can use this waterfall of white light at any time. Just close your eyes and imagine being in your ideal place of relaxation and immerse yourself in this healing white light. Now imagine that this white light turns to green. You are now immersed in a glowing green light. This green light is unconditional love. It surrounds you. It encompasses you. This is the infinite love of universal source energy, or infinite intelligence, or God, whatever name you choose. Feel yourself surrounded with this infinite source of love. Feel it flow through your entire being as it fills you with love. Just imagine any of the hurts you felt, or pains you felt, or angry moments. Just imagine this green light filling up all those spaces now. You are an amazing human being. You deserve love. You deserve joy. You deserve abundance, and you deserve peace. It is now time to step out of the waterfall of light. Your energy field is now clean and clear. You are calm. You are centered. You are relaxed. You're in the flow of universal love and energy. You have now reset your body and mind for the month ahead. It's now time to set your intention for the month ahead. I'm going to count backwards from 10 to 1. When we reach the count of 1, just trust that you will have tuned in to your inner wisdom, to your intuition, or your higher self, to your inner guidance. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You are now tuned in to your inner wisdom, that part of you that when you tuned in guides you and intuitively knows what is best for you. Now I'm going to ask you a few questions, and as I ask the question, just write down your first impressions, just a few things, and then close your eyes and go back into meditation until I ask the next question. So the first question is, what do I need to focus on for the month of April? Just write down your first impression. And then take a breath and return to your meditation. And close your eyes. Next question. What steps do I need to take me closer to what I want to do, be, or have? Write down your first impressions. And then take a breath, relax and close your eyes. Next question. What do I need to let go of? Just write down your first impression. What do I need to let go of? And then relax. And then the last question is, what do I need to embrace? And then allow a deep breath, relax. I'll count from 1 to 3. At the count of 3, you'll open your eyes, be wide awake, feeling fine, in perfect health, feeling better than before. 1, 2, 3. Eyes open, wide awake, feeling fine, in perfect health, feeling better than before. Thank you so much. Just a last note. I just saw a note I wrote here earlier today about finding your life purpose. It says, your heart will know. Your head will hold you in a prison of self-limiting beliefs. Ask your heart what your purpose is. Ask your heart. All right, lovely people. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop the recording. If anyone has a question, you're welcome to ask me anytime now.